What is up? What is up, guys? What's up? What's up? We are out here. I'm using StreamYard for the first time, so bear with me if there are any technical issues. And hopefully, you guys can hear me. I have to let me run some tests. But if anybody's watching, shout out to you guys. I got some kombucha here. No company logo yet. It's not sponsored, so. But all right, let's see. I want to make sure my audio is working. So bear with me. I'm gonna go on my YouTube and there's a LinkedIn user. It doesn't say the name. What's up? Who's this? Uh Wait, why can't I see who it is? All right. How's it going, man? Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. Can you hear me? that's that's basically what I'm trying to figure out right now. Cause it would be a shame if I just talked. Oh, all right, perfect. Perfect. Thank you, whoever you are. I can't see your name for some reason. Or yes, it's good audio. It just says LinkedIn user, good audio. It might be something I need to set up on my end, but thank you for pulling up. Today, what are we talking about? Today, we're talking about changing careers and going into iOS development because that's something that I did, and I didn't really even think about it like that until like afterwards when it actually happened. So yeah, I'm gonna give a few moments for people to come in. But yeah, how's your morning, LinkedIn user? Whoever you are. Hey, we have Anthony in here. Good morning, Anthony. How's it going, bro? Thank you for pulling up. Anthony's been to, I want to say he's been to all the live streams I've ever done. So shout out to Anthony. He's like 4 for 4. You're the real MVP. All right. And I think I'll just hop right into it. So first I'll start off like with my background since that's something like changing careers and going into iOS development is something I did, right? So now I'm an iOS developer, yada yada yada. Oh, hey Robert. I don't know why LinkedIn is hiding who you are. I don't know why they're doing that. But the LinkedIn user is Robert. All right. So yeah, where was I? Um yeah, changing careers into iOS development was something I did. And to start like the origin of it is like 2019, which is like pretty much the start of my career because I graduated from college 2019 and then I went right into a kind of like an accounting job at a art school. And if you're not familiar with art school, it's kind of like a college slash university, but for art stuff, like creative work. Um, and yeah, so and I'll address comments after I finish this because otherwise I'm just gonna keep getting sidetracked. So yeah, I was at art school and I ended up like some random accounting job, and I was actually interested in it because I mean I didn't know what I was doing at that point in my career. Like I just wanted a job, and it seemed interesting. I was like eager to learn and eager to like work. So I did that, and but after like a while, I kind of got like what would I say? What would you call it? The task got very repetitive and it wasn't much there wasn't much like problem solving or like interesting or new problems coming up. Like it was just kind of like the same paperwork, like paper office work. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. So I looked into starting to code, and this was around early 2020. I looked into starting to code, and I already knew a little bit about coding, but I started back again learning Python. And I think this time around, I was going, well, in 2020, I was actually going like, I was trying to go the data science route. So I was like, I like numbers, I like data. I graduated with degree in math, so let's go the data science route. But what inevitably happened is I spent like a good 2 months learning Python and like studying a bunch of stuff. But then COVID hit, And COVID, like, it just derailed everything for everyone. And that's kind of what happened with me because like, I mean, you really no one knew what was gonna happen. So I kind of stopped learning to code and was just focused on, I don't know, just trying to survive, right? Trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And I actually got promoted at work, so that's another reason why I um I was like, I guess, chilling for a while, like just not really doing much in terms of, like, leaving the job and going into tech. But then after, I want to say, like, after a few months of the like, once COVID settled down, probably like, what once COVID settled down is a tricky time frame because it depends on who you ask and where you were when you consider COVID slowing down. Because in Florida slash Miami, like, pretty much by the summer, like 2 months after, like, people were kind of back to normal except for the mask in the store. But that's Florida, and I know, like, in some places people had masks like throughout the whole year and social distancing and all that. But we're not here for that. So yeah, after, I want to say, like, towards the end of 2020, and then in 2021, I really got that itch again to go back into tech and, like, try to learn it because I knew there wasn't really a future at the job I was at. Like, the company wasn't I mean, it wasn't a bad job, but it's just the work wasn't fulfilling and I kind of wanted something more intriguing and interesting. And iOS development slash tech just seemed like the way to go. So I started going into it. I started going back into it. This time I kind of wanted to focus on, like, mobile development and apps since we take our phones everywhere. And I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to build apps. So that's what I pretty much did. I started learning how to build mobile apps using Python, which they have a framework called Kiwi. Shout out to anybody who knows or use that. I learned how to build a few apps and games on Kiwi, and and at the time I didn't know about Swift or iOS development, so I built a few apps. And then when it comes time to, like, get it on the app store, or, yeah, basically just get it on the app store or get it on your actual device, I realized you have to go to so many, like, hoops to do that since you're not building through, like, something with Swift or Swift UI. And so then I did a whole bunch of research and I actually found out about Swift. And I was at a point where I had to decide which way I was going to go in tech because, excuse me, that's always the biggest hurdle. I feel like for somebody who wants to break into tech is like, which path do I go? Because you can go anywhere, like cybersecurity, you can go web dev, you can go back end, you can go data side, you can go AI now. So yeah, I decided, since I was focusing on mobile and I had an iPhone, I had a Mac. I was like, you know what? And Apple does make good products, and being in the US, everybody has an iPhone. Like, I don't have any friends who don't have any iPhones. Um and, and yeah, so I started going the Swift route. And around this time, now we were like in 2021 slash 2020. No, 2021. I actually got I got laid off from the job because the art school was struggling because of COVID and stuff. Like, they were struggling with enrollment. So they kind of phased out my position and they, like, outsourced it to, like, reduce costs. So I got laid off, and that's when I kind of fully committed. I mean, that wasn't when I fully committed, but I got laid off, so I had, like, a lot of time. So I just went straight towards it. Like, that's all I focused on pretty much. And it was a lot of work. Like, there was a lot of things involved in breaking into tech. Like, it's not just you learn all the stuff and they have a job waiting for you. There's a lot of things involved, right? And now I kind of wanted to kind of, like, give some tips. Well, first let me say my path. Given that I was laid off, what I decided to do, I decided to move to Atlanta with my friends and kind of use that as a trampoline to just focus on iOS development. So that's pretty much what I did. Like, I spent since the day we moved in, like I just spent the whole time coding and applying to jobs and learning and trying to actually break into tech. And about like how many months after the move? Like 2, 3 months afterward, I was able to secure a role at Pfizer. And even before then, I was doing a little bit of like independent contracting slash like freelancing stuff, but it wasn't like official with like a big company. So yeah, that was the path I took. And now I kind of wanted to give some like tips and pointers for people who want to like transition into iOS development or just break into tech because it's a big path, like it's a scary path. And yeah. Oh wait, before I do that though, I'll address this question. What do you think about starting iOS development in late 2023? The market is scary. The market is tough right now, but it's the holidays too, so it's not like people are always hiring a lot in the holidays, but it's like a combination of the holidays and the market we're in that it's just like if you're looking right now, it's like dry. Very, very dry. But if you're learning, like you shouldn't let that discourage you to be honest, because it's like that for pretty much for all positions. Maybe if, like if you're an AI, but even then, um, if you can ask people like around the tech industry, and they'll tell you like it's when you're trying to break in, it's gonna be hard regardless of where you're going. And I'd say 2024 it should open up for sure. Don't I don't know what time, but I mean at least at the beginning of the year it should pick up compared to what it is now. All right, and some tips and like yeah, some tips for people who want to like change careers and go into iOS development. The first one would be like to set a schedule for like coding because that it's important to learn how to code. Like sometimes you hear people say, you know, coding is not the only thing. I mean, that's true, but you still need to learn like the fundamentals and actually build stuff on your own. So set like a schedule. Pretty much figure out like times of the week that you want to code, and I'd recommend like at least 3, but you should really be aiming at 5 times a week, and they should be like at least 2 hours, 2-hour sessions that you're able to like code or like learn a concept. It doesn't just have to be coding all the time, right? But like learn a concept, learn like the fundamentals, like things like such as maybe data structures and algorithms, maybe like MVVM architecture or networking, things of that sort. And from there, start working on like portfolio project, like a portfolio project. You know, not you don't have to do multiple, but a portfolio project, and that'll be really key and really good for you because you could get stuck in tutorial hell, right? Where you could be doing that all the time, and we're that's actually the next live stream on Wednesday. So I like to see you guys there. But yeah, just start building stuff on your own. Keeping with that schedule. So once you like learned enough or you have an idea that's like you're inspired, you you just start using those times that you had for coding to build like your portfolio or you build your project. Something another tip that's really helpful is like give yourself like why you want to become a developer or yeah, why you want to become a developer because that's gonna help you when things get tough because they'll get tough. Like you'll get rejected. I got like 500 rejections, give or I mean, I didn't really keep I did keep count, but then I lost count like after a month because they just kept coming and coming. And it's funny, like even after like 3 months of getting the job, like I was still getting emails saying we didn't consider you for the application. Um, so yeah, that'll be a really good tip. Giving yourself a why and a purpose. There's a quote, right, from he who has a why can bear any how. I forget whose quote that is, but that's somebody's quote. Maybe I don't yeah. Does somebody know who I'd Google it, but yeah. What else would I recommend? Three, and this is something I didn't mention when I was telling the story, is focusing on improving yourself, like your health, your mental, physical, your habits, because those will be very helpful to on your journey. Because I mean, you don't need to, right? But it's gonna help you. And if you should really do, you should be doing anything that'll help you along the journey because it's gonna be tough regardless, right? So don't make it tougher than it has to be. So yeah, just focus on better habits, better sleeping habits, eating habits. Just exercise a little bit. You don't even have to like do anything in particular. Just move your body, move your body a little bit. 30 minutes a day is good. Don't get stuck just sitting here and coding, right? Because I mean, you'll learn a lot, but you also your body might deteriorate. Yeah, those are just some tips I wanted to go through. Let's see. All right. Like I'm struggling. Just smile. I'm struggling between iOS dev and Java backend. There's more Java junior jobs, but I love iOS. So the question: do you follow your heart or the market? Ha. Wait, how good are you at Java? Like, are you as a beginner or is this as a or do you already know like both pretty much? All right. Because that'll impact the question. Like for example, if you're a beginner, that makes it really tough because they're both gonna be hard regardless. Um, One thing you can always do for sure though, because I mean I'd say go iOS, right? But you could always go Java backend and then use that as your primary, and then have iOS dev as your like secondary, where it's like a hobby. Maybe have a project where you build a backend using Java, and then you consume that backend with an iOS app. Because I know there is a big market for Java and backend, especially because iOS development is more like attractive to people because you're like working on front end apps. So and I do see that like the back end devs, they are in high demand, and it's a good skill to know. So maybe you could do something like build a back end and consume it, try to consume it in a simple app, but focus on Java. If that's the route you want to go. If not, just go straight iOS. All right, let's see. What's up, Tommy? Where am I from? I am from Miami, Florida. I didn't mention that yet. I'm from Miami, Florida. I I right now I'm living in Florida. I was in Atlanta for like a year and a half, but I moved back like a few months ago, and now I'm in Florida. So what about you? Where are you guys from in the chat? Is it necessary to publish an app on the App Store? It's to be in this market, yeah. Yeah, in this market, yeah. Cuz unless you like to be honest, it's going to be the exception where like you have something else in your resume that's going to set you apart, or you just know somebody. But having an app, yeah, because some companies probably won't even look at you if you don't have one on the App Store. So I would say, and you don't have to. It doesn't have to be something super crazy. Just an app, just like maybe a to do list, habit tracker, maybe like a fitness tracker, something simple, not too crazy. That that shows that you're able to publish from like from nothing, from having nothing to a built app to having it on the App Store. And it'll be a very good experience because you learn so much. You learn so much. All right. Do anybody else have any questions? Does anybody else have any questions? Oh, I think we're streaming on Twitter, but I can't see the comments on Twitter. Is there a best thing to do for iOS dev to apply on LinkedIn? Must we have 3 apps on the App Store? To be honest, for this, Is the best thing to do for iOS dev is to apply on LinkedIn. We must have 3 apps on the App Store. The best thing to do is, I would say, you should have at least 1. I don't think you need 3. I mean, if you're able to make 3, then do 3, but 1 should be really good. Like a one good app that you actually put in a lot of work, you maybe use, like, some architecture pattern in it, and maybe some other, like, maybe use, like, some, framework, like maybe Swift Data or something, or maybe use, like, Supabase or Firebase. Just some stuff that was, like, complex and complicated where you had to actually, like, look into it, do some work, because that'll be important just in general to talk about it in your interview, because that's what they're gonna probably ask you about. And then the next question was, how do you get it on the App Store? Yeah, you have to get the Apple license thing, which is $99, so it's hefty, and it's I can see how it could be frustrating, but you got to get it. And what I did was I just used my Apple ID account, because you can't create an LLC and publish it through there. It's a little bit more complicated though, a little bit more complicated, and so yeah, the quick way is just to just use your Apple ID. All right, Tommy's from Detroit. Shout out from Detroit. I'm a student at the only Apple Developer Academy in North America. Oh wow. Who is it? What does the Apple Developer Academy look like? Do you think at one point to switch to web dev? I have thought about this. I have thought about this. Now, it's not something I want to pursue right now, though. But I have had some experience with web dev, especially at my last job at Pfizer. We were working on um a web app that was embedded in iOS. Not the whole thing, but parts of the app were embedded in iOS. So part sorry, I got I lost right. I was looking at the comments. So I do have some experience, and I do see that there is a lot of demand for it, but I would say just pick one thing and focus on it for at least 2 years, because eventually what happens, or from what I've seen, what happens is, like, you master, like, you get really good at one thing, like Swift UI kit, Swift UI, right? And then you kind of not that you run out of things to learn, but, like, you have to evolve. Like, there's a lot more things in as a developer, there's a lot more things to learn than just, like, one language. Like, there's back end stuff, there's Firebase, Superbase, you can learn SQL, you can learn Fastlane. So you shouldn't really limit yourself, because I see some people do that. Like, they learn one thing and they just stick to that. And if they see something else, like, if a problem is thrown at them that involves something that they're not familiar with, they just don't go towards it, or, like, hide from it. So I think as a developer, you should be able to tackle any like coding question. You just it'll be hard, right? Like, if it's something you haven't learned, like, you probably have to figure out the syntax first. But if you should be able to actually arrive at, like, an some sort of a solution, as long as it's not too complex, right? All right, we're almost gonna be wrapping up here. Um, Shout out to Robert. He's from El Paso. I think Anthony's in Massachusetts. I think Boston. Oh, yeah, I did see that post. There was a post on LinkedIn where, like, there was an iOS job that 1,300 people applied for. And Tommy said, "Can you be more descriptive?" I think about the Apple developer thing. Oh, I'm not too sure about. Wait, descriptive? Oh, like, is it a boot camp, or is it just, like, is it a school? All right. All right. And before like start wrapping it up. If you guys go to, well, it depends on where you're watching this, but if you go to my if you go on my LinkedIn or my Twitter, the link you can click on the link in the bio and book a free one-on-one like coaching session. So if that's something you guys are interested in, definitely check that out. And I'm working with iOS developers trying to help them break into tech and break into the industry. How should the how are now I'm just gonna answer a few questions at the end of the stream. How long should the hiring process take? Um, it depends. Like for your first role, like a week or two, probably like a week to be honest. It always depends like on the job. Usually it's a week, and from what I've seen, it's about like being at the. I don't want to say it's just about being at the right place at the right time, but that's kind of what it feels like or seems like. Like you have to be at the right place at the right time, and you have to actually know your like stuff and be prepared for it. I think there's another quote out there like, "Luck is when timing meets preparation," something like that. Maybe I butchered it. A little bit of both. A little bit of both. And yeah, Anthony, was this question for me? I actually got a. I was able to get an offer and like get a role, and I started on Friday, so so yeah, it's been going really well. It's with Scale AI. I'll probably talk more about it. What is it called in a podcast episode? How did I find my first job? This is something I should have actually covered. How did I find my first job? I I took the dumb approach where I just applied to like 1,000 places and found somebody that would accept me. I mean, it's not dumb, but that you can get a job like that. But you just have to never like just not don't stop applying and of course keep learning. And eventually you'll find a position or a place that'll take you. And that was pretty much my approach. Like I just applied. And based on the feedback I was getting, I would iterate and improve my resume, my LinkedIn, my portfolio, and just learn more on the side. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We're almost at the 28-minute mark. So is it all right? My bad. I was just reading. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you guys want to see any more of this, just like and yeah, if you want to book a coaching session, make sure you guys check out the link on my Twitter or LinkedIn. The link to that, or if you on Twitter, I'm Jason Dubon YT for YouTube. I need to change that Twitter handle to be honest. Oh, what's up, Bryce? What's up, Bryce? I need to get back to you. I need to get back to you. I haven't been on IG in a while. Um, and yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Where did I end this? There we go.